And without further ado, Daniela, the stage is yours.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys. Thank you for taking the time to join us this Sunday. I'm sure many of you have been in Zoom calls with work, with your kids perhaps. So I want to make this fun and upbeat. I don't want it to be one more lecture. Something about me, I am a psychotherapist, a law of attraction coach, but I also speak with a very honest and candid voice. So I want you guys to know, as we go about this presentation today, feel free to ask questions that come up. And if you want to post them anonymously, you can just send them to Sam. Just know that if it's a question that you're having, chances are many other people are having them as well. So I want to just let you guys know what I'm going to be covering today. First of all, I want you to know why I care about what I do and why it's going to benefit your love life. And then we're going to go into why we are so wired for red flags and we could be overlooking the green flags. And we have to kind of redefine that. And throughout the evening, I'm going to break it up with some really relevant TikToks, because that's one of the best thing of 2020 is TikTok. So hopefully it's not going away. So a little bit about me. Before I became LA's premier relationship authority and dating expert, I want to be honest with you and let you know that it was not something I planned, but from my own story, kind of my pain had become my purpose. So going back to when I was in my early 20s, I was living in New York and I just wanted to get married at a young age. And I learned all about the laws of attraction even before the book The Secret came out. It was really not mainstream yet, but I went to Learning Annex in New York. For those of you who know what that is, I learned so much at such a young age that I applied it. And within 30 days, I manifested meeting the man who would later become my husband of 16 years. And I started to hone in on this formula, and I have been using it with clients and friends, first on JDate, and now with the new apps, because apps were not around when I was single. The more things change, the more things stay the same. Now, I want to speak candidly and let you know that 3 years ago, I actually stepped off the marriage platform. And we were together 16 years. It produced 3 beautiful children, but it was not meant to last. And even in Judaism, they say that if a relationship becomes that unhealthy, it's actually a mitzvah to end it. Not that I'm here to advocate divorce, but I'm extremely passionate about what it takes for long-term healthy partnership today. Not only am I speaking to you as a psychotherapist and law of attraction coach, but I've been a wife and mother, I'm continuing to be a mother, for 16 years. So I know what a healthy marriage is, and I know how it can become unhealthy. And so I know many of you, because this is a 35 plus crowd, also are no strangers to heartache, to disappointment. And I want you to know that I am never more comfortable and more confident and manifesting things that I could never dream of now in my second chapter that I was not able to do before. And if I can do that and have success at it, this is what I'm all about. Anybody can get married today. Anybody can swipe and match today. But what is quality relationships? What to truly pay attention to when you're dating, because it really is quality, not quantity, especially if it's not your first rodeo. Okay, so I just wanted to make it clear, it's because I've been able to successfully match so many couples. It's because I have seen it all and been through it myself. It's because I want you guys to start off on the right foot right from the beginning. And I know a lot of you, that means online dating. One of my specialties is online profiles. So you really, the pictures you choose, how you describe yourself really sets the tone for who you're calling in right from the beginning. And if you can hone in on that, it's a ripple effect to everything else. So we're going to get started with some humor. Sam, can you play the first TikTok video? Let's see if this works. Oh, I don't think there's sound.
Yep. Hold on one second.
Okay.
First up, it says the most emotionally unstable, toxic man. Oh, yes, I choose that. 6'4", homeless, unemployed, doesn't have a car, been arrested 6 times. Yeah, no. 6'4". This brings me to the guy that hasn't texted you back in 3 weeks. Oh, he just texted me last night. What time was this at? 3 a.m. And what did it say? You up? Oh, of course it did. Well, what about the guy that always calls you babe? Does he even know your real name? Yes, I think. All right, this one has ghosted you 7 times and keeps coming back when he senses you're happy. And for my next trick, I'll give him an 8th chance to prove his love for me. I need you to repeat after me. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. Sweet mother of pearl, why are you perfect? Hold on, this one looks promising. It says he's smart, funny, in tune with his emotions, and it says here he will always text you back. No, I think I'll take this one. That's trash. Yes, but I love him. Okay, Caitlin, let's find.
Okay, I still think that's hilarious every time I see it. Okay, so clearly she's been at it and she's a mess with what counts. And she has good intentions, but she's totally focusing on the wrong stuff. And sometimes when you've been dating, many of you, I mean, actually, I would like to get a poll if you guys are comfortable. Who is coming out of a long-term relationship and who has been single forever? It would be nice to kind of get an idea of who I'm talking to, because when you're talking with people who have been professionally single for 2 decades versus people who are coming out of long-term relationships, it's kind of different energies. So if you guys are willing and brave to say, okay, let's make it easy. Long-term relationship LG and forever single FS. Okay. All right, here we go. So long-term relationship, just broke up with someone, single forever, single since the last century. Yeah, so we have a little bit of a mix here, which is fine. It's fine, but I'm going to be honest with you. The people who've been professionally single, they are way more jaded than the people who are coming out of a long-term relationship, because it's kind of like, once you do the work, it's like a kid in a candy store again, versus the people who've been dating forever. They're like, everyone lies, everyone's short, everyone's psycho, I'm just staying home. So either way, there's still hope. There's still hope because, you know, even my name, which I changed actually after my divorce because it was so on brand, it is truly never too late to bloom exactly where you're planted in love and life, once you know how to show up differently, right? So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So the key is to do differently, which means you kind of rise out of your pattern. And in order to do that, you got to ask yourself some real honest questions so you can get underneath the stories into that clarity again. Because a true master manifestor knows that once you are clear, really clear on what's true and in alignment for you, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And oftentimes people think, oh, I'm ready for a relationship. Oh, I'm ready to lose weight. Oh, I'm ready for that job promotion. But that you go digging and digging, you realize there's so much fear there. There's so much confusion there. There's so much hesitation. There's so much wounds that still need healing. So part of the work I do is kind of getting people out of their own way so they truly are clearly ready to meet someone amazing. Which brings me to law of attraction. Law of attraction, and I know I have a lot of Californians here, so this is not so crazy if I talk about it. Law of attraction, the essence of it, there's no judgment here. There's no right and wrong with law of attraction. It truly is like attracts like. So if you want a great relationship, but at the same time you think all men cheat, or you want a great relationship, but at the same time you have so much issues with your mom that when you see a woman, you think all women are critical, that's a mixed message you're sending to the universe. So it's very easy to attract back exactly what you don't want. But when you start showing up in a much higher vibration and you are showing up in a much more balanced, authentic way, guess what? Like attracts like. And it's not just for love, it's for everything you do in life. Okay. So with that said, let's get back to red flags. The reason why we have them, especially after 35, right? Everyone is going to have baggage. Everyone has been hurt. Everyone has been disappointed at this point. Everyone has felt rejection, abandonment. So the key is not to find someone with a perfect, clean slate. Good luck with that. The key is to find someone whose attitude about their past is strong. How are they talking and showing up with their past experiences? Are they still hung up? Do they get really triggered and easily emotional about it? Do they have some perspective on it? Are they able to say, I kind of see what my part in that was? We're going to get to the details in terms of questions to ask when you're on that first date, but just keep that in mind. And everything I ask you to look at in the other, I also ask you to look at that in yourself. How are you showing up when asked about past relationships? How are you showing up when it comes to how emotionally and physically healthy you are? Okay. So let's go to TikTok number 2.
Okay, bear with me.
Okay.
Everyone see where we are? Refresh.
Relationships that last. We all want to believe that we're dating the person that we'll be with forever. But statistically, most relationships will end in breakups. According to a study spanning over 11,000 couples, the number one quality of couples that last is this: relationship dynamics. AKA, the person we choose is not nearly as important as the relationship we build. Of course, choosing the right person matters, but that's only the beginning. Perceived partner commitment, appreciation, sexual satisfaction, and conflict are all more important than individual partner characteristics. Once you choose each other, you have to practice and build the connection. Long-term partners do the small things often, and they see love as a choice, not just as a magical feeling. Follow for more tips and check out my podcast, The Aux, for daily insights that I don't share here. Here's the number.
Okay, so I thought that was another amazing video because it underscores it's not just attracting the right person, it's the choice, it's the unselfish acts, it's the ability to want to nurture that's going to sustain a relationship. And sometimes if you come out of a toxic relationship, okay, for example, one of the main dynamics that I see in my divorce groups that I lead regularly is the dynamic of the narcissist and the codependent. So the relationship has ended because the codependent has actually said enough, right? But the recovery to the codependency is to strengthen boundaries, is to identify voice, is to identify needs. And in essence, the codependent actually has to learn to be a little selfish because she forgot what that has felt like. Now, that is a wonderful thing to be, is to get back into your own needs and self-nurturing. But there is a point where you have to come back and say, now that I've gotten my confidence back and my self-worth back, what does it mean again to put the relationship first? And that does entail being a little less selfish because it's no longer about you or him or you and her. It's about the relationship. And what I also like to say is that a relationship is a moving entity. So the person that you married or the person that you first met, once you become married, you're going to get curveballs. You're going to get curveballs with kids. You're going to get curveballs with business, with in-laws, with health. So your needs are constantly changing as you get these curveballs. So the key, the absolute key to long-term partnership is the ability to grow and nurture and adapt. And a lot of people don't even know what that is. You know, they're so focused on their lists of I want this, I don't want that. But how flexible are they in life? How rigid are they? These are the things to look for in a healthy person. And there's definite things to pay attention to in profiles that will give you clear insight into how flexible, how rigid, what that person's worldviews are, because these are the things, these are the green flags that count in quality people. All right, so it's really about taking inventory with how you are showing up. So now let's go to TikTok number 3. Oh, good, I'm doing them in order. This is great.
Okay, hold on.
When it works out.
Hey there. If you
I'm just gonna refresh quickly.
By the way, I hope you guys are taking notes. We forgot to tell you to bring paper.
Or how about we focus on the green flags? 1, he's consistent. 2, he takes the lead and makes plans. 3, he remembers little things about you. 4, he's well-mannered. 5, you feel happy and at peace with him. Hey there.
Okay, so she definitely identified some basic, really great green flags, but we're gonna get even more specific, okay? So how many right now are actually still open to actively dating during this quarantine? Can you guys write in the box how many people are actually dating or like not interested at all? Like I want to kind of get a gauge of where you guys are falling. Okay, great. Yes, dating. Yes. Okay, good. Yay. Okay, because the truth is connection is so crucial now more than ever, because to be honest, what the heck is going to happen even next year? So all the more reason to want to manifest to full potential in love and life. And if you don't show up, you have no chance of succeeding. So I'm glad that many of you are dating and are saying yes. And you're here to learn a more effective way of doing so. Okay. So let's start with online profiles. Now I do this. It's my favorite thing to do is online profile makeovers. And I love working specifically. I love seeing people's profiles when they send them to me unedited, because already I can get a sense of how they're showing up. So if we were in like a live event, I would ask for a few brave volunteers to kind of give me their profiles, and I'm going to tell them right then and there what is working and what's not. And maybe we'll do even a webinar just on that. But in the meantime, I'm going to just tell you basic things to pay attention to even see if they're worth your swipe, because you only have one swipe / post in Bashara Lounge to make a first impression. Okay. So also, if you can actually, let's make this fun. Many of you probably have online dating profiles. So I'm going to ask you the first thing to see if you have in your profile. And if you're already doing it, I want you to do a thumbs up, okay? The first picture in a dating profile should be looking straight at the camera and smiling. Nothing else. No other person, no alcohol, no car, no dog, no looking away, no far shot where you can't even see them, no sunglasses. Who can honestly say their first profile picture, they're looking straight at the camera and smiling? Yay, Samantha. Yay, Ken. Yay, Suits. My theater headshot. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Good job, Bruce. Okay. Let me tell you why that's so important, what the subliminal message is of that, okay? If you are choosing that picture, it means you're already giving the message of what you see is what you get, which is coming from a place of authenticity. Because, right, like attracts like. If you want to show up authentically, you want that back in a partner. That's why the #1 picture should be a clear picture of looking straight at the camera and smiling. And it should look true to life. So who was the one who just said she did a theater shot? I'm sure it's beautiful, but unless you look like that every day, it's really important that the first picture really is who you are, okay? Something else to look for in a healthy style is that they have more than one picture. They have several pictures, and I'm going to give you some basic requirements, and I want people to tell me if they meet this next criteria, okay? I want at least 4 pictures, and I want 1 close-up, 1 outdoors, 1 full figure, but with clothes on, and 1 professional shot. Boom. Who can say that? I have some of them. Okay. Awesome, Samantha. 3 out of 4. Okay, Hannah. That's great. That's great. I got some of them. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. So as you can see, though, the more well-rounded and balanced that you show up in your profile, the more you're going to attract that back to you. I can't even tell you how many highly intelligent, successful people I work with who have success in so many areas, but they step over their own feet thinking that if they convey their profile in a certain way, that they're going to up their chances for long-term partnership success. And I love using this one example. There's a girl I know, her name is Rachel. I'm not going to say her last name because she's pretty big in the social media world. She has huge success in what she does for a living. And she gets so much nachas from it. She gets so much validation and satisfaction from it. But if you look at her profile, every single picture she has chosen, she's wearing a cocktail dress. And I ask her, Rachel, and she goes to me, what's the point of online dating? All men are after is sex. And then you look at her profile like, well, you know, you are conveying like a Vegas prostitute vibe. And she's like, and I said, well, why don't you have pictures of you standing in front of the computer, leading a class, speaking on a podium? And this was her answer, people. She says, because I don't want to intimidate men. So basically, she's thinking of herself so low that she can only manifest someone who would, by minimizing her ambitions and success. The opposite should be true. You want to showcase what makes you feel most alive, and you want to attract back someone who applauds that, not who is intimidated by it, so you have to like minimize that part of your life. How long is that going to last? So already from the beginning, it counts how you're showing up. And if you can't show up in a profile, that means you're not showing up for yourself, right? That's the work. Okay. I couldn't find a cocktail dress for me. Okay, that's great. All right, so that's another thing. I feel like I always need to say this PSA. Men, we are not you. Please, please, for the love of God, keep your shirt on, okay? We'd much rather see you in a button-down shirt or a suit because that conveys stability and seriousness, okay? Now, let's be honest here, okay? There is a biological reason why men are wired to attractiveness and women are wired to affluency, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it's shallow. I mean, of course, it should be the only thing, but there's a biological reason for this, okay? The reason why men are wired to attractive women, specifically women with long hair, shiny, curves, is because that shows them that she's able to healthily reproduce. So it's literally a biological DNA thing why that's important to them. That's why if a woman is just showing face and not their full body, again, doesn't mean you have to be in a bikini, doesn't mean you have to be in a suggestible cocktail dress, but it is important that you are showing a full body picture. And it can be doing something like hiking or it doesn't have to be in bad taste. It's very important. And the same way that women, what they're wired for, because if they're going to have children, if they're going to like commit, they want to know that the man they're with is predictable, stable, consistent. Usually when a man is in a suit or a button-down shirt and not posing on a motorcycle or selfies in the gym, that's going to be a lot more attractive to them. So again, by how people select their pictures is also how they kind of see themselves. So if it's very heavy on physical attraction, like, you know, it's like an Instagram reel, you can tell that their energy is really kind of shallow, right? They're putting so much worth on their appearance. And again, no judgment. There's definitely a match for that. But if you have higher standards, then don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Look for the balance. Okay. All right. So again, if you guys are interested in a profile makeover, going over your profile, it's what I love doing. I can give you more details in the end. But let's move on to actual. Also, Sam, tell me, how am I doing on time?
You're doing okay. If you have a lot more, we'll just cut the Q&A a little short, but you're covering a lot
Okay.
of questions anyway, but we'll be
Okay.
okay.
Okay, fine. So let's just say you matched, okay? You matched. I want to speak to the men here because the truth is, no matter what's going on in modern day society, women still love to be pursued, okay? That hasn't changed, despite what you think, despite what the media is telling you. Women love to be pursued, and we get a lot of matches, right? But if there's something about a girl that stands out to you, a woman responds to directness because it implies confidence, leadership, and purpose. So the first thing I would do is, if you match, okay? I know Bumble's different because a woman has to reach out. We can talk about Bumble if you guys have questions specifically about Bumble, but let's just say it's like J-Swipe or Hinge, right? Which is my favorite app. Hinge is number one for me because it's not a relationship app. It's not a swiping app. You have to have a full profile, and you can like people's answers, not just their pictures, and you get so much information from it. And let's say you like someone on Hinge, because Hinge, you can like someone, you can invite them to the conversation, but the man should still take the lead, okay? It's okay to start off simple, but use their name. Anytime something feels generic, or you have to work too hard, like, hey, what did you do over the weekend? Like, I'm not going to take my time and tell you what I did for my weekend when I barely know you. Just first start the connection, you know? Hi, Samantha. I loved what you wrote about in blah, blah, blah. Or I noticed you have that picture from this college. Let them know women love when a man picks up a detail. We're detail oriented. So if you like a girl, focus on that detail, okay? Women, if you like the guy, match his energy, okay? Answer his question and then add to it, you know? Oh, thank you so much. I blah, 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 blah. What about you? Have you always lived in New York or California? Follow the energy. And if it's positive, men, you got to keep moving it forward. The apps are not meant to stay on. Ask for their phone number. I would love to get off this app. Are you comfortable giving me your phone number? It's always nice to say it in that way, because a woman can say yes or no, because all women are different, but it shows you want to move things forward. That's a green flag, because it means you're wired for something that you're ready for. You're not wishy-washy over, and women love that, okay? What else? So match that energy, keep moving it forward, and then you go from apps. A lot of us over 35, we actually appreciate a phone call. I love a phone call because so much is lost in a text. You can't hear someone's humor. You can't hear someone's tone. Men, move it to a phone call, okay? FaceTime might be too much at the beginning, but at least say, is there a good time I can reach you this evening? People are the most honest and most relaxed in the evening. Take advantage of that. That's how you really can connect to someone. This is very important, though. You do not want to stay virtual. Do not start bonding and telling them your whole life story when you haven't even met, because there's nothing that replaces in-person connection. There's so much you can get from their energy that you're still on a safety when you're on the phone or texting, but you can't make it up in person. Even if you have a video date, you still are not in that energy of in-person. So again, men, keep moving it forward. App, texting, phone call, date. And you can gauge what they're comfortable with. You know, we all have different levels of corona comfort. You know, some are like, we can meet socially distanced in the park. We can meet for coffee. We can do dinner. Well, actually, no. Sorry. Dinner should never be the first date. It's expensive and it's time consuming. The first date should always be no more than 20 minutes for coffee or for a drink, because you know within the first 5 minutes if you even want to be there, and you can even extend it later or not. But either way, you're out. So key to a green flag, healthy men keep moving things forward. Healthy women receive, respond, and add. Okay, so if there's a lot of wishy-washiness and ghosting, that's not so interested. So men, either be bolder and call it out and say, what are you doing next Tuesday? Or when are you next free? Or not. But this hanging around, this texting every few days, we don't have time for that. It's not attractive. It's just annoying. Okay. Yeah, JDate is no longer great. It used to be great because it was the only thing we had, but JDate is like, the app is a disaster. No one's on it anymore. It's true. And that's why I'm very excited at, groups like the Share It Lounge, because what's the first thing we do anyway when we get a match? We go on Facebook and we like see their posts and we see if we have friends in common. That's really, really valuable. So I can definitely go on and on from there. I want to gauge kind of what questions.
Yeah, I have a couple of ideas. I am getting a couple of questions in.
Okay.
And I also have a couple of things I'd like to bring up with the questions. So maybe we'll kind of guide the. So something that just came up based on what you just said, as a general rule of thumb.
I had to pick up on Jessica.
If everybody could mute themselves, please. Okay, as a general rule of thumb, what is a good time frame to move from app to phone call?
From app to first date, is that what you said?
How do you what's the general rule of thumb for moving off the app to the next stage? Sorry. Sorry, Daniella. You're mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So again, if the energy is matched, guys, if she's biting, you're giving her a little bit of bait and she's biting and she's interested, move it forward. Say, would you be comfortable with me getting a phone number? Literally, if you have 5 text exchanges and they were consistent and in a timely manner, move it forward. There is no, you've already established, she's already giving you attention. So be bold, ask for the number. Let her know that you're interested. Again, a woman wants to be pursued, and a man in his masculine energy actually wants to pursue. He wants to lead. That hasn't changed. Okay.
Okay, so I'm getting a lot of questions. I'm definitely gonna respond to everyone as much as we can. I want to pick up on this question, and then we're gonna go into another direction. But why do I keep getting dates, but nothing works out past 1 or 2 dates? How do I know if I am trying too hard? Now, again, this is like hard to know because we don't know who's asking, but we can always get more specific later.
Yes, and it's also slightly different answer whether it's a male or female asking. So I'm going to answer for both. It's very important that when you come to a date, you're coming with the energy of curiosity without expectation. And I know for you guys who've been dating forever, it seems like a job at this point. That's why you guys are going to have to work particularly hard to overcome that energy, because the energy of spontaneity is so attractive. So what I would recommend is when you go on a date, first of all, you should be excited. If it seems like a chore, if this person is not so interesting, but you're just going through the motions, don't even bother. Because your time is precious, their time is precious. The date should excite you. It doesn't mean it has to fit all your things. It's just the way I like to say for women, the 2 most important criteria in saying yes to a date is, do you respect them? Meaning, have they made enough good life decisions that they're not living on a couch and all that? Like, do you respect them? And are you curious about their story? That's it. That's it. That's enough to get a cup of coffee over, because minimally you learn about someone, you share a good conversation, and a connection is a connection is a connection. So whether it's romantic or whether it just turns out to be social or even professional, you are showing up curious and excited. And that is what translates. So it's possible that this person who asked the question, not getting great success after 1 or 2 dates, that there's a heaviness. There's a heaviness brought to the date. Like it's an interview style, or it's a seeking approval energy, or it's a fear energy. It's so important to come with a fresh energy for women and men. So what I would like to tell you, I would suggest for women to get into their queen, because we're meant to be princesses, not queens, is to take a bubble bath, play some sexy music. We're going to get into this on my next series class, which is in a few weeks. But set the tone of your date beforehand. And men, do something like masculine, like go run, go play basketball. I mean, I know some of these things are all relative now with COVID, but do stuff that gets you in your masculine energy. So when you're showing up truly in your essence. And it's not about expectation. It's just about open to connection. That's the true energy of attraction. And maybe that will show you a different outcome. And again, don't set up for a 2-hour dinner. That's too heavy. It's too much money. It's too pressure. 20-minute coffee date, 20-minute ice cream date, 20-minute walk. It's all you need. And then from there, you can keep seeing if the bait is being bitten.
Thank you, Daniella. Something that has come up in questions a couple of times now is when I'm going to read this question. What happens when someone meets all the green flags, but you have no chemistry with them? That's what seems to happen with me. This is from a woman. I meet guys who have everything I'm looking for, and I even give them 3 to 4 dates, but just no chemistry. So, meaning, yeah, go ahead.
I get it. And it's a great question. So whoever asked it, thank you for asking that. This is what I would say. Actually, Alison Armstrong coined it the Adam Sandler effect, where at the beginning of the movie, they're so not attractive, they're dorky, but as the movie goes on, the attraction tends to build, because with women, unlike so much with men, attraction can build. And sometimes, and I don't know, what your values are, or how you feel about it, but sometimes someone, because I've seen this in my own life, I've seen this with my clients, where they were just not your physical type at all. But the humor they have, their success in their own life, their presence, how they made you feel like a woman. And also, he may not be the physical attraction, but then boom, you have a very explosive kiss. Those all count as layers of attraction. But I'm not going to minimize how important it is to actually be attracted to your spouse. And that's actually one of the core foundations of Judaism. But I would really, if he is truly meeting all the green flags, and more importantly, how do you feel when you are around him? Do you feel cherished? Is he present with you? Those are very attractive king qualities to bring to the queen. And if there is something to bear it off, like if the kiss works or something, when he holds your hand, there's some sort of electricity, keep allowing that to build. That's what I would say.
Okay, thank you. I think we're getting a couple of, can you give a couple more examples of green flags when you're on like a first date, for example?
Yes. Again, women who are discerning are going to pay attention to the little things. So if it's a coffee date, which it should be at this point, you guys all know why. And she's, first of all, it's always a gentlemanly thing to choose a coffee house, a bar close to the woman. Even asking to pick her up, which she'll probably say no to, but just the fact that you asked. Say, I would not be a gentleman if I didn't ask. And allow her to politely decline still is amazing. So green flags, does he come to you? Like those of you from LA would understand. I'm in Northridge. They come to Northridge. They come to Northridge from Orange County. They come to Northridge from Hollywood. They come to Northridge. And it's not even a question. It's what I manifest. It's just they are always willing to come to Northridge. Northridge people, not even sexy Encino. Anyway, I digress. So men, choose a place close to the lady. Okay. If you're meeting for coffee, ask her in advance if you can get her something before she even comes. Okay? When she comes, stand up to greet her. If you're both walking out of the door, hold the door for her. Smile at waiters, smile at other people in line. All of these show your character. Okay? Also, when you are with her, make eye contact. Let her know that you care. And also, a lot of times these get into interviews, don't forget that she's a woman and you're a man. So in the middle of the conversation, this is a real ballsy move, okay? This is like $1 million tip I'm giving you men. When there's a natural pause, okay? I don't know if you're comfortable actually slightly touching her hand if it's on the table, but look her in the eyes and say, I just don't want to forget to tell you, you look so much more beautiful than your pictures. You know, reminder that she's a woman to your man, okay? It's not just an interview. People connect first on that connection. Do they want to keep seeing each other? So a man can elicit that in a woman. Okay, and then if the other is true for men, is she laughing at your jokes? Okay. How does she talk about family? How does she talk about her ambitions? Actually, you know what? Do we have time for one more TikTok? Because there's a great TikTok that has 3 amazing questions to ask on a first date. Are you guys up for that?
Did you send it to me already?
Yes, it is number 5. This is fantastic. Write these down. These are brilliant questions.
Okay, I gotta share my screen, I guess. Hold on.
Love this guy.
3 first date questions to really understand someone. 1. How do you usually spend your Saturdays? The way someone spends their free time says so much about them. For example, if someone works on their day off, they might be extremely driven and career focused. It's a low pressure question that reveals a lot. 2. Where did you grow up and what was your family like? One of the best ways to see if someone is emotionally healthy is by learning about their childhood. According to psychologist Carl Manager, the more satisfying and stable someone's childhood was, the more likely they are to be emotionally healthy. This doesn't mean run for the hills if someone had a troubling past, but it does give you the option to see if they are actively aware of and working through their trauma. 3. Thing that's ever happened to you. This question reveals someone's sense of humor, if they can poke fun at themselves, and if they can open up and just be vulnerable. If you found this helpful, like and comment for part 2.
Those were excellent questions, and it shows how much someone's guarded versus how someone is open, the humor, the willingness to share. All of these count as healthy green flags.
Thank you so much. That was a great TikTok. I just want to, I'm getting a lot of questions about long distance in Corona dating and also about deal breakers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to have time right now, and I don't want to take the time because we did a great class last week on this very topic, deal breakers and versus preferences with Jessica Fass. I will email that information out to everybody along with tonight's recording. So I just wanted to give everyone a heads up that's sending me questions about, you know, what if there's, because what we're, just so you understand, Daniella, we're getting some questions like, he meets all my green flags, but then he has 1 or 2 of my deal breakers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, I think that's going to be on a case-by-case basis mostly. What do you say?
Yeah, this is exactly what I do. And I do this with clients all over the world, virtually, from Israel to London to New York to Florida. Your non-negotiables and deal breakers are important, but some of them may be a little bit more flexible than you think once we go exploring.
And I exactly. And something that we talked about in that class was Jessica Fass's Big 6.
Okay.
And she really goes into all of that. So I'm going to refer everyone to that recording. I want to ask you a couple more questions. Um, I think something that a lot of people would be interested to hear is if you have any tips, maybe we just have old dating habits and we're used to looking for certain things. How would you suggest training yourself to start adjusting how you think about someone? Meaning, like, maybe you should just try, like, giving someone a chance based on something you're not used to, right? Like, what's the line of being open-minded on green flags? What's the line on, like, maybe I should try something different. Maybe this isn't working.
We do have an inner voice, and sometimes we've made that inner voice so muted because we haven't listened to it for so long that we don't know what's the inner voice versus what's the inner fear, right? We don't know the difference sometimes. So I would go back to what I said before. Is there something in your energy that is drawn to this person? Is it worth exploring? Because at the beginning of courting, you're in the gathering of information stage. You're not going to make your decision the first date. You're not going to make your decision the second date. You need to be dating consistently to really see the personality of someone and how they're going to measure up long term. So if you're in the gathering of information stage, is he worth gathering information? The other thing too, in terms of rigidity, okay, I know we are in very heightened times, and I know now more than ever it might count for you where people fall politically, and I understand that, but there's ways to also get how easy someone is triggered. If they are so easily triggered where they just can't help but get emotional and name call, that is something to pay attention to, because how you do that in one area is how you do that in all areas. So I know that was talking about a red flag. So it's not like I would talk people out of what they feel are red flags.
Right.
You still want to honor that, but you want to pay attention to other things as well. Okay, like maybe what you mean, for example, Sam, is you just want to date someone in academics, but maybe, a guy from the business world, how he sees the world, or maybe you never dated a writer, or maybe, maybe that's a different energy to be curious about. That comes from a positive place.
And this is more a comment on my part. I kind of just wanted to have this conversation with you, with everyone. I think, as an admin on Bashert Lounge, and all the admins, are working definitely to help bring people together. I think something that has been coming up is that people might be burnout, second marriages, there's a lot of reasons, but people have become a little rigid in what they're looking for. And I think what I would like to encourage as part of this conversation is, what are the green flags to look for in a healthy relationship, not in a person? Meaning,
Yes.
it's not a shopping checklist. On one hand, it's a lot of variables when you're meeting a new person. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, the checklist is going to equate in a healthy relationship. So I wanted to know if you had, like, any advice or comments on that.
Yeah, well, if for the people who've been coming out of long-term partnerships, it is really important to kind of do the work on yourself first, so you're really ready for dating again. And dating can be extremely healing, nurturing, and fun and amazing, but you might not be ready for it. Again, if you're just the thought of dating makes you cry, you're not ready for it. When you're truly ready to date and find, and it's not even, I hate when people say the words like, I'm looking for someone, because the true law of attraction is magnetizing to you what you desire. So whether that's, you magnetize it through matchmaking, you magnetize it through an online app, you magnetize it waiting in line at Starbucks, you are showing up in a completely different way, so it's coming to you. If you are still sending the vibration out of, I'm looking for someone to compensate for my deficits, my pain, what's lacking in my life, that's a low vibration match. It's about being open and ready to meet someone who complements you. So just in understanding the energy of how you define a relationship, how you see yourself in that ideal relationship, what your ideal desires for them. If that's healthy and opened and complementary, then you're in a good mindset to meet. But if it's not, spend the time doing the work on your first, because it will pay off.
Thank you so much. I appreciated that. I see there's a lot of conversation about long distance.
Okay.
I think because I want to keep to our time, I do want to get your opinion on this though. What would be your recommendation for handling, like, pursuing someone long distance? Like, let's say you get to the phone call. Let's say you're not ready to go out and meet that person. What would be another next step that you could do?
I mean, this is just my personal opinion. It's quite possible that other matchmakers and experts might disagree with me.
Mm-hmm.
But relationships are hard enough to gauge. I'm really all about trying to date local first. If you branch out to other states, there should be a tie to them needing to do business in your state, or you have family in their state. There should already be a reason to travel there that incentivizes it. But just randomly meeting someone in the middle of America when there's not an easy way of meeting and establishing it, because of so much opportunity now, it's so much more easier now more than ever to meet people. I would definitely focus on local. And if you're going to consider out of state, out of the country, do you have incentives to be there already? Do you have business there? Do you have family there? Have you traveled there before? Because you really do want to make something real sooner rather than later. So if you're going to meet someone, but there's just no way you're going to meet for 6 months, what is the point? You know, unless you continue to date in the interim, right?
Right.
But you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. It is too much pressure.
Right. I hear that. Okay. Thank you for that. I think what we would like to do next, I want to really thank Daniella for all her time tonight. This has been definitely eye-opening for me personally. I want to put again some contact information in the chat for everyone. We're not over yet, so don't run off and leave. We have a third part to tonight that's optional, obviously. So the information I'm putting in the chat box is a link to our Share It Lounge Facebook group. It's an opportunity for you to review profiles that have already been posted. You can reach out to an admin about posting your own profile. You can also sign up to be matched. Now, this means entering your information into the admin-only database so that we can try and find someone for you. Lately, what we've been doing is trying to break the ice with couples and doing a lot of virtual video dates, so stay tuned for that. And I also have Daniella Bloom's website and email. Daniella, thank you again. I'm gonna stop the recording for this evening.